There you are, Dave. Beautiful Dave. Fern. Hi, Fern. Look, beautiful Fern. There's a wave from Wahoo Watery. Thanks for the wave. Tonight's guest is actually going to be really cool. So I'm excited for this. You kind of get forgot about some of the hockey history. When it comes, we always talk about goals and assists and stuff. Tonight, some pretty crazy stats when I read them out. Okay, my mom's on, so I'm allowed to get started. Knuckles is his first night, by the way, guys, learning how this works. So just work with me for a couple of seconds, all right? It might take we're going to hunt him down. He just kind of learned how to join this thing. So we'll get him in a couple of seconds. But let me just give you some quick info on Chris. He's drafted in the Habs by the Habs in round 19. Round 19. 231st overall. So the cool thing about when I do these things, I do all this extra work about learning about the guests that I'm going to have on. There's always these cool stats that pop up. I remember the Eric Lindros trade for me just kind of blew me away. I forget how many players that he was traded for, plus $15 million in cash way back then. But Knuckles was drafted in the 19th round. I didn't know there was 19th round. I thought it always stopped at 15, and then it went to 12, and then 9, and we're at 7. And it was the longest ever useless information for people listening was in 1974. They used to have 25 rounds. 25 rounds. Anyways, he played 688 games. I did some homework for you guys. 3,043 minutes. And I did the math. I know I can see Mark Starnina right now taking off his shoes, and don't worry about it. I did this for you. Bruins, Habs, and Rangers, 3,043 minutes, 688 games. It's about 4.4 minutes per game. That's a major in every game. Think of that. 688 games, that's pretty much a fight every night that he played hockey. His nickname's Knuckles, but there's something that gets lost, and I don't know if he's able to join right now, but I'm sure if he's, I don't know if I'll try and bring him in this way. Let me see if I can find, it's his first, it's a big day. Let's see if I sent it to him. Knuckles, let's see if he can join it. Anyways, one of the things that gets lost all the time in sports, and I don't know why we talk about stats and Stanley Cups. And we never really talked about playoff stats. And I don't know why they don't get added into the mix. And that's one of the things that I don't, especially this year, everyone's talking about all these players in hockey because they had this little extended period. Oh, all these numbers have been broken, all these new records and everything. But I don't know why we just don't add total points, total games played. So if we wanted to do that, I'm just doing math for you guys because this is what I like to do. I like to sit at home and do some extra homework for you guys. He played 111 extra games in the playoffs, which is 531 extra penalty minutes, which is giving you 4.7 penalty minutes per game in the playoffs. There he is. No, that's not my Dave DeRushi. That's not him. I'm looking for Knuckles. Knuckles was supposed to go on. That's Darren. Thanks, Darren. Give me a sec. I'm waiting for Knuckles. If Knuckles doesn't come on, Darren, you're coming on. Anyway, so 4.7 extra minutes. So he played 799 games, 3,574 penalty minutes. So, well, you know what? I don't know. Okay, I'm going to bring on Darren DeRushi for a quick second while I'm waiting for Knuckles. Darren, come on. While I'm waiting for Knuckles. He also won a Stanley Cup in 1986, which is, I just tried to bring him on and he just went nowhere. One of the cool things also about Knuckles is that his story is pretty, if you haven't seen the movie Gladiators, you have to give it a look. It was originally going to be the story about all these tough guys and the roles that they played. And then it more or less got condensed into the life of Chris Nilan. And his story's pretty amazing. It goes from a hockey player to his post-career, which is kind of where I want to start with this. And I'm actually going to hunt him down right now. Nilan. Hold on. I'm going to FaceTime Knuckles right now. just and where he got to today, and it's an amazing story, and that's why I'm really excited to have him on today because there's more to the hockey player.
What's up, buddy?
Hey,
I have you.
look, you're there. Yeah, I know you have me, but I'm trying to get. It's his first day. Everybody, say hi. Okay, so you gotta press. Look, I'm gonna go on my little live button. Press request.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Okay, I need you.
I did. There's a delay.
There's a delay. There is a delay. But can you do me a favor? Can you go on? I'm trying to bring you on now, Nux, okay? So go into your...
I did. I went into live. I'll push on live.
Okay. Now look at there's an invitation that I'm sending you.
Look where?
Look, at the little bottom here, there's going to be an arrow. See the yeah, see the arrow? Is there a number on it?
I can't see it. The light there.
No. Nux, you got your All-Star jersey behind you. I see that. So,
I'm in the office. That's all. I got my Habs jersey too.
Well,
anyway.
there's my Habs. Well, there's mine. Okay. Hang up. Get off my live, and then start over. And then when it says, "Would you like to join?" say yes.
It doesn't. All right. I put on live.
Okay.
I push on it.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't tell me. Would you like to join?
Okay. There's the little arrow on the bottom.
There's no arrow on the bottom. All it does is show a picture of you talking to me right now, and it shows all the people that are saying hello, blah blah blah. That's all I say.
Bobby J just joined.
Yeah, Bobby J joined. I see that.
Okay, you see the little wave right there?
What little wave?
Where it says beside their name?
No, there isn't. I'm telling you.
All right.
There's nothing there.
Hold on, Nux.
Yeah. Bobby J just joined.
Nux, we'll work with you for a second. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
The little what?
This is... Two Pad says, hey, Nux. Nikki Koza.
I'm telling you, Jamie's here too.
Okay. All right, we can do it kind of this way, Nux, if you want.
What's that?
Can you say hi? Can you wave?
Yeah, hey everybody, how's it going?
Hi.
Like, TJ, I have you.
Yes, but you have to join mine. When you come on, there's going to be a little thing at the bottom that says, would you like to join my show?
It doesn't, though. It's delayed. It's delayed. It's a drag. I'm fucking pissed.
Hold on. Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, how are you going to do this, Nuck? You have to be on your iPhone. You're on your iPhone.
Yeah, but I was on my Mac computer.
No, your iPhone. I told you your iPhone.
All right, I'll try it on the iPhone. Let me see.
Again, everyone, it's his first time, so I can't see all my text. Okay, he's coming back. This is just, but listen, he was private. He never did this before, and it's awesome. And the fact that he's going to do this is awesome. And that's why I was actually, normally I start with the guys' careers and talk about how great they are, blah, blah, blah. And then we come back down. His story is amazing because he went high and kind of fell back down. But he's done so much to bring himself back up again. And he does so much to help so many people. And that's the thing that is really special to me. So I didn't want that to get lost at the end of this. I wanted it to kind of talk about it at the beginning. So I called him today when I explained all this to him, which he forgot. But one of the things that I said to him was like, as I'm getting texted right now, and sorry guys, I'm going back and forth. He has to join on his old iPhone. Thanks, Michelle. I know he has to join on his iPhone. Anyways, what he's done lately is he helps a lot of charitable causes in Montreal. And a lot of stuff that, you see people going around with their iPhones and telling everyone, hey, Knuckles Nilan, there he is. Hey, I think we got him. And he even threw a little wave in there. Unless somebody else is him, but we're going to look. Hey!
Here's the thing. On my computer, the goddamn computer, it wouldn't work.
I told you on your phone. It's all right. You're here. So you missed all the flowers that I gave you earlier, so I don't have to give you any more. But one of the things that I was saying, Nux, is that, I always talk about guys and build up their stats and then talk about the end. But what I love about you is your end story, and the way we're going to get to all your hockey. And by the way, when I always ask these questions, I put your face up there and I said, send me some questions. You got the most that, and I've had some great guests on. There's some really cool questions that I'm going to ask you in a bit. But before we do, after all that struggling, I don't really want to do this, but you've done some stuff for my family and for some friends in the community. And my mom's your biggest fan now, which is hilarious. So for what you're doing behind the scenes in Montreal and for all the stuff you just had to do to get on Instagram, thank you for being you, bud. Just to thank you for being you.
I appreciate you having me, bud. Really.
It is. So, as I said, one of the things, Knox, I didn't want to kind of jump into it this way. Actually, let's do this first. I'll fluff it up a little because you finally got here. What's the jacket you have on?
I have my Canadians.
How old is that?
Probably 3 years old.
Well, that shirt underneath then, is that not one of the old baby blue shirts you used to practice in?
No.
Like this is new clothes. You're not.
Yeah.
You didn't want to get in.
Yeah.
What jersey's that?
Huh?
What jersey's over your shoulder?
The one over my shoulder is my All-Star jersey.
Yeah.
And the other one's my Habs jersey. And there's my Stanley Cup in the corner. I got a few things here in my office.
I don't want to one up you, but I have my Rangers jerseys over there, my Bruins behind me, and my Habs. I have the Rangers. You have an All-Star game. It's kind of a toss-up because I
have the Ranger one in my closet. Okay, I'm gonna get it framed.
I saw I had the Flyers one too.
I wish I had a Bruins one. They're too goddamn cheap to give me one.
So I gotta tell you, before we get going too much into that, where I wanted to go. So one day I'm doing. Chris is retired, and of course everyone in the hockey world knows Chris. As I was giving out his stats before, but one day I'm in warm up in Boston, and I'm not a big guy, and almost Chris and I are kind of the same size, but he had to do it against dinosaurs. Like he did it against guys that were 15 feet tall, and he did it at a crazy time where men were men. Like men were men. I was lucky enough to come at a different time, but some of my fights where I wasn't really strong, and I always tried to. I not the most defensive guy because sometimes my offense was a little bit more defensive, and it didn't work all that often. So one day I'm in warm up in Boston, and I'm about to do every team. Any hockey player knows this. It's pretty much the pass windmill 2-on-1 come down in, and I'm about to go, and I get a tug from the stands, and it's Knox hanging over the boards. He's like, Staka, you gotta get in there. Enough of this. You gotta get in there. You gotta play longer. You gotta get in there. And
I remember. You know where we were? Remember we were. I ran into the first time as a charity event up in Lowell, I think, and you were there. Lyndon Byers. Remember, LB just got out of the place he was in for getting in trouble, and he was back there. Anyway, we talked in the hallway, and I was talking, and I said, I love the way you fight. You'll fight anybody. You go in there. I said, but if you want to last, I said, I give you all the credit in the world. I always have. I always will. I think you're the toughest little bastard. Little bastard. You're like the same size as me.
Yeah.
So we're two tough little bastards. But here's the deal. I always thought that if you were a little more defensive, use that I always thought you could have played longer. I give you all the credit in the world for firing away like you did. I just think, again, you could have had a longer career if you fought a little more defensive at times. That's what I did. I had to last. I played it like, here's the deal. I'm not going to beat everybody up out there. If I win a fight, great. But when I lose one, at least don't look like you lost it that bad. I always kind of, how that can deflate a team.
What was the worst loss you had?
Maybe O'Reilly, the very beginning. I fought Jonathan, and then I fought him after. And I hit him with 2 rights. I knew he was a lefty, and I was doing what I was telling you not to do. And this was the lesson I learned.
It's these fights. It's those fights.
I learned it that night.
Yeah.
I hit him with 2 right. Boom, boom. I hit him, and he didn't even move, right? Yeah. And he come back and hit him with 2 lefts right on the button. Well, I couldn't see. I stayed on my feet, but I couldn't see, and the blood was just pouring out of my head. And I got the penalty box, and he said, how's that? Huh, kid? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, here's my hero, one of my heroes, giving it to me. And I said to myself, I'll never let that happen again. I said, if I want to last in the NHL, I have to fight smarter from now on, because if I fight open like that all the time, I'm going to get hurt. So let me fight my fight, pick my way through the fight and throw the punches I want to throw when I throw them. Take away the other guy's strength. I always try to do that.
Was there anyone that helped you when you were younger? Like any in that role?
No one really gave me any lessons. I just kind of had it in me. My first fight was in pro hockey was in Maine against Glenn Cochran. I didn't have a contract. PJ, I had a 5-game tryout, $200 a game. Okay, my first 5 games I played. First 5 games were at home. First game on the road in Maine, I was dressed. I fought Glenn Cochran. I cut him open. It was a good fight, but I cut him good. And the next day, the GM, Bert Templeton, called me in my hotel room. He says, hey, Chris, what's up there? I'm, oh, not much, coach. What's happening? He said, you have an agent? I said, no. He said, well, you better get one. He said, Montreal wants to sign you a contract. 1 fight down there. I did that to Glenn Cochran, cut him open, and I had a contract 2 days later.
You didn't have anyone help you throughout your career besides grabbing me in warm up. You played with Johnny Kordick. Anyone or try and teach your craft too while playing?
A little bit. Some guys. Rudy Pocek came in. We talked when I was in New York. Johnny Kordick, he was his own man. He did his own thing. Wasn't much I could tell him. He had his own style. We talked at times. Shane Corson was there. We talked a lot about fight. But Shane, again, he was a little bit more of a player, didn't fight as much, but he could fight. He was a tough bastard. And, but, when I think back, not really. Not a whole lot. A few guys here and there. Like Rudy, I remember Rudy when he came to New York, he asked me quite a bit. And by the time I get to Boston, there was no one there that really needed any help,
So I started telling this before while you were playing on your computer or whatever game you were playing before. One of the things that I think gets kind of lost in this, by the way, Hal Gill jumped on, former Bruin, former Hab, Nashville Predator, does an amazing job. Should have been a quarterback instead of a hockey player. But he one of the things that gets lost in this, I was giving out your stats, which is crazy. 688 games played, 3,043 penalty minutes, which is pretty much a major per game. Most ever by an American-born player. You have the Stanley Cup. But one of the things that gets lost, and I don't know why we don't talk about it, Chris Knuckles Nilan does radio every day from noon till 3 p.m. on TSN 690, and you can hear him talk about almost anything. But one of the things that I think, you can talk about this because I talk about it all the time and it drives me nuts. I don't know why playoff stats aren't added in to our stats. It's a games played. We talked about your Stanley Cup and what you did during the season. No one ever adds playoff stats into things. And if I added your stats into it, you'd have another 111 games, another 531 penalty minutes, which is 4.7, give or take. Well, exactly, I did the math. Penalties per game, minutes per game, which is pretty much another major per game, per playoff game. And, of course, 242 points total. So it's an amazing career, but I don't know why we just don't add it all up as one big – this is the person.
Yeah. Well, the NHL, again, honestly, I don't think the NHL likes to, take credit for their past that way. It's kind of like the fight game was there. It served them well at a time. It's like they're glad it's over with. They're glad they don't have to deal with it anymore. So I think the last thing they want to do is go back and pad stats to regular season stuff. But, I just NHL now, they're in a place where fighting, they kind of, it's weeded itself out where they don't have to really deal with it like they used to. And, they didn't have to be the bad guy come in and say no more fighting because they haven't taken it out of the game, but it's kind of getting weeded out as we go here.
And what's your thoughts on that?
You know what? I'll be honest. I could care if I ever saw another fight on the ice. I'll be honest with you. Do I think they should take it out of the game? No. I think it'd be good for an outlet there for those two guys that get so pissed at each other they want to drop them. I like the idea of having a tough guy that can fight and play. I don't know if I'm so much for the guy that just sits there, doesn't play, goes out and fights, anymore. And you won't see that. But I think there could still be a place in the game for it, but there's just no way they're going to let it back in. They're not going to let that type of player get back in. I like to watch Ryan Reeves.
I was just about to say Ryan Reeves, and I just had a blank. I was going to say his name before you right out of Washington, who plays on the first line. He was a first-round draft. Tom Wilson, thank you. They dominate the game when they want to now, because they can do both, and I think every team kind of needs that. The only thing, I think the OHL has changed. I forget. I think it's the OHL that's changed the rules now, where if you want to, if anything, it is a major penalty. They've eliminated the instigator rule, but if you wanted to eliminate it a little bit more, make the penalty a little bit longer if you want. Make it a 10-minute penalty if you want. I just think it's part of the game. It's hard because the refs can't control a lot what happens during the game.
Yeah, it's true. And I think to get a guy to come in and be able to stick up for your teammates, I think that would be great. I just don't see it happening. And honestly, come on. It's bad enough punching helmets back in our day.
Right.
They get the visors now. It's like crazy. Guys are punching a visor. It's like you got to go underneath. Then you go underneath to throw uppercuts. You hit the bottom of that thing. Hands. I know guys, they'll do it. They don't care. But it's like stupid sometimes, Again, I'm not saying that there couldn't be a place for it, but with the visors now, the way I just think it's a little crazy.
So I have a bunch of questions, but one of the things that I wanted to get to, Knuckles, is just a quick note on it, because, again, my mom loves you, and so much of the stuff that you're doing behind the scenes in Montreal. For people that are watching and might think Chris Nilan, there's a movie called The Last Gladiators that was originally supposed to be about a whole bunch of players that played, that were tough guys. I think we just lost him. I don't know where he was. There he is. But and one of the things was Knuckles' story just takes over the entire movie. It's an amazing. It's called The Last Guardians. It's on
The Last. It is.
Gladiators. Last Gladiators. Yeah. Is it on Netflix now? Can you find it on Netflix?
Honestly, I don't know where it is. I think you can watch it Netflix, YouTube. I don't know. It's out there. So,
and one of the things is you hear about Chris's story of the whole hockey story, and then what I like is there's so many stories that you hear that you get up to the top of the mountain and then you kind of fall down. But there's so many people that stay down. And Chris's story is amazing how he's taken that experience and he's using it to help other people, help family members, and has helped a lot of people I know. So I thank you. My mom thanks you. But just for those that haven't seen the movie, the role that we did, Knuckles, obviously you at a whole new level. But we have this, it's hard to explain to people that are watching or listening. You're solo, mano y mano, gladiator style in front of 20,000 people. The rush that we got is hard to, we did it for a reason. For, whatever it was in the game, and we understood it. We weren't those people growing up, but it just happened. And that's what our game escalated into. And it's hard when my career ended, and ended prematurely, as we discussed earlier, that what was my escape? What was my out? It's funny. I still play rugby at my age. I'm 45. I played with, shout out to Marty Silverstone in the St. Anne's. But that's my escape. And I know the tail end of your career, you went through a more difficult time. Just a snippet of that difficult time and what you learned from it, and how your trajectory was like this, and just kind of it's back up like that now.
All right, PJ. First of all, don't talk down to yourself, because you said, "Oh, you're a whole other level." I beg to differ. You fought at a time too, and there are a lot of big tough players in there. So please don't. Any guy who did that job for any length of time deserves a whole lot of credit for what they did. Listen, I had a job to do. I did it. I didn't come in wanting to be a fighter. I came in wanting to be Bobby Orr, quite frankly. I knew I wasn't.
How'd that work out?
I wanted to score goals. I wanted to play top, that Bruin-style hockey I grew up watching. But, when I get in that fight with Cochran, once they knew I could fight, it was like, okay. The American League, once I fought Cochran, everybody in the league, who's this guy? And then I end up having to fight everybody, and it just took off. And I didn't mind, because I was always the type of guy who would stick up for my family and my friends all the time growing up in Boston. Not a big deal. Anyway, going through that.
Did that start at a young age? Was that something?
Growing up where I did in Boston, yeah. I fought a lot growing up in the streets. My dad was a tough bastard. Very a lot of discipline was at a premium in that house. Yeah. So, I took a lot of crap from my dad growing up. I gave him a lot of heartache, but, he let me have it quite a bit. And I was always like, listen, here's the deal. I got to take it at home with my dad. When I go out the front door, I ain't letting no one mess with me. And I kind of had that chip on my shoulder. Anyway, I got my share of fights, like I said, growing up. And it helped me. But to get back to after my career, I think a lot of people don't understand the mental, the physical, and the emotional impact that has on each and every one of us.
Yeah.
And when you're there, you can't, you don't discuss that stuff. Hey, it's tough on me tonight, guys. You got to put the armor on. You can't show any weakness. You got to be front and center. And whether we like to admit it or not, it takes a toll on us later. The physical part of it took its toll. I mean, no question. I've had over 30-something surgeries. It's like insane. I don't have any of my own teeth in my head. None. It's crazy.
They look great, though. They look great.
Zane, my dentist, Zane Turner, beautiful guy. If it wasn't for him, I'd be eating mapo every day. Like crazy. I'd be eating Jell-O.
Alan Timo says Montreal loves you, Chris. But keep going with your story. Keep going.
Yeah, but anyway, all those injuries, all that stuff added up. I retired from hockey. I wasn't ready to retire, but I was. You're never ready. You can prepare all you want. You can put all the money you want aside, but it's very difficult when you retire. I had a hard time with it. I struggled. The surgery started piling up. I got addicted to the pain medication, which got out of control. I went from Percocet to Oxycontin.
Yeah.
Very heavy doses of it every day. I was trying to get off it at times. I couldn't. I didn't know what was going on with me.
Yes, Chris.
And then I ended up on heroin. I ended up like, it was, I'm thinking, me, heroin? But, when I look back at it, I was surviving. And I was surviving. I was so sick when I was trying to kick that stuff. And every time I thought I'd get over that hump, I got so weak and so sick that the only thing that would take that pain away and that sickness was more of the crap I was on.
Yeah.
And, I thank God every day that the NHL was there for me. Dan Cronin, Dr. Shaw, Dr. Lewis, they really helped me out big time. They got me into treatment. The first time I went out to California. I come back. I was pretty good for a while. Then I went back the other way. And then I went back again in 08, 09. And I got back on the horse again and got squared away. So, yeah, my life has been great ever since. Getting sober isn't an easy thing to do. Kicking all that stuff and learning. It's not just about not drinking anymore and not doing drugs. It's about changing your life, changing the way you live. It's about action, getting into action, helping other people. I can't keep what I have unless I'm able to give it away. And I love helping people who struggle with addiction or alcoholism. It's rewarding in a lot of ways. And I do as much of that as I can. Whenever I have the opportunity to. A lot of people reach out through different avenues, and like I said, I'm always willing to put my hand out and help someone.
So, Knox, we're doing this live, so it's hard to see. There's comments at the bottom. This is going to be on my Instagram page. You'll have it on your live as well. You can save it, but you got to read some of the. You have to read some of the comments. There's some amazing people. That's why I wanted to. We got into the stupid stuff early, but I think the words that you speak, and you and I have spoke about this off air, that people need to hear, because the way you say it, it's so real, right? It's real. It's real. And I think that's a big problem with sports in general. And you see it, everyone reads everything about, this guy lived a life a certain way. There's a bit, we're all human, and we all have these emotions, these thoughts, these, a lot of times we've been playing hockey since we were 5. And I was 28. Knox, you were 36?
34.
34? But then they say you're done. And that's all you've been doing for the last 29 years. And that's all you know. And now you're trying to jump in a society that people have been working for 15 years and everything's different. They don't talk the way we talk. You and I in the locker room talk about the stupidest stuff, and we think it's funny. We tell our jokes to our friends. They don't get it. Like, it's just so there's a big, in the NHLPA, and I have some friends that work there do an amazing job it's that curve of coming out from here to going to there to try and get back up. So I just wanted to give you some love, because you're great at it. Like I said, he's helped a lot of people that I know, and he's perfect for our town. And I know you're from Boston. You came here, went back there, and now you're back here. So as a proud Montrealer, for those that have seen the show before, they know I'm proud of people that are from this city that have gone on to have successes. But I'm really proud of people that are from other places that come to Montreal to make Montreal a better city. So thank you for being here, buddy.
I love it here. Thank you, PJ. I absolutely love this city. It was such a big part of my life. And when I was getting back on my feet to come back here and get the help I did from, like, Mitch Malnick was an immense help to me. Helped me get into the radio, which was huge. I had no experience in that whatsoever, except getting interviewed. I didn't know the first thing about it. They helped me along. They held my hand. They still have to hold my hand, actually. But I enjoy what I do. I love this city. I love giving back in this city. I do miss home. Since the pandemic, I haven't been able to get home and see my kids, my grandkids. My girlfriend Jamie's from Hawaii, and her mom's there, and we haven't got to go there. We usually visit her for a month every year, and it's been tough that way. We haven't seen our family, but if I'm going to be somewhere, I'm going to be here, home here in Montreal. I'm glad I'm stuck here.
Quick love to Mitch Malnick. For those that don't know, Mitch is the staple of radio in Montreal on TSN 690 from 3 to 7 o'clock every night. He's just an amazing human being. Melanie, by the way, bonjour Melanie, merci pour aider Yannick avec tout. Again, Knox, you got to reread it and read all the comments later because there's nothing but great stuff. Okay, Knox, we can keep going about a million things, but one of the things is I put that little tab up. I'm like his Nuts is huge on Twitter. That's what we do on radio. But Instagram is his story and his room and his jerseys. It shows some pictures of your life. Everyone wants to see. So we're getting him on that. He reshared a few stories. And I put this little thing up today about asking him some questions. So I got a few here. And then I got some of mine as well. Okay? You ready?
All right.
Which team? This is from, by the way, I apologize for this for two reasons. A, I took the questions off normally off Instagram, so I don't know the real pronunciations of people's names. So I apologize because I spell everything phonetically. Like every Russian name, I look at it and I don't know. And every name looks Russian. So for people, if I say your name wrong, I'm sorry. Adriana WH, which other team besides Montreal would you love to play for?
Which other team would I love to play for?
Besides Montreal.
I honestly, I never wanted to play for another team.
Hey, you got to answer the question. This is how it works.
Well, that's how I answered it. And now I'll tell you, if I could play for another team other than the Montreal Canadiens, in today's hockey or in a city, I'd say Chicago. I love Chicago.
Great city.
Yeah.
Adriana, tell me I got the name right. Thank you, Adriana. You just put a listen to Knuckles every day, 12 to 3. Jared Struss, I hope that's right. Who we talked before about getting nervous about fighting. Who did you look? I wrote it wrong. Who did you not look? Who are you not excited to fight? More or less is what I wanted to say. Who are you nervous about fighting? I wrote it in a different language.
I pooped my pants before every game. I was so scared.
So true, eh? Was there anyone though that you really pooped them that much more?
Honestly,
let's say it wasn't solid poop. It was more of a wet poop.
Yeah. I was nervous before every game, but I was always like, if I'm going tonight, I'm going. That's it. I always went on the mentality I'm going to get in a fight, and I don't care who it was. I just do my job. I wasn't like, oh, that guy's too big or this guy's too small. If the guy was a tough bastard and he was a willing participant and something had to be done, I was going to be there. So it wasn't like, and I'll be honest with you, a guy I didn't like fighting was Terry O'Reilly because I loved him.
Totally ruins it, eh? Totally ruins. Jay
Proby, I fought once in Detroit, but we didn't play against each other a whole lot because, the divisions, and plus he was out a lot when we played against that team because of his problems,
Right.
But Proby, I think that was the toughest bastard who ever played the game.
So, Jay, I tried to write it down, but it went up so quick. J02170, I think, just asked the same question about Probert. But I actually have a question in here about Probert. Some Sellers RM34. I know him. What's your how did you and Probert become buddies after the game?
We went to first time we went to England and played hockey in a thing over there. And I met him for the first time, and I loved him. He was like a big teddy bear. He was the best. He's like just an awesome guy. And then we went to Afghanistan together once. And then we went to Abu Dhabi to play hockey together. We were roommates for a week in Abu Dhabi. And from Abu Dhabi, playing hockey for a week, going out, and I was drinking back then, and we were having fun still. Then we went to Afghanistan for a week. we came back and went on tour with Steve Shutt and that crowd.
Yeah.
And we were together for like 3.5 weeks, and we were tired. We were tired of each other. And the last night we were having a dinner with the people who came to support the game and everything with all the players. And I was sitting with Proby, and I asked him a question. And then somebody called my name from behind me, said, "Hey, Knuckles." And I turned, and it was Gaston Gingras. And he had asked me a question. So I answered the question. I turned around, and Proby says, "What are you doing? You asked me a question, and you turn your back on me?" Oh, and he got up, he threw a punch, and I ducked. I pushed the table up. The mashed potatoes flew all over the place. I had him against the wall. I hit him with a shot. Everybody jumped in and broke it up. And that was the last time I played hockey in that thing. But we had a blast together, Roby and I. And, we made up, kissed and made up the next day. It was no problem. But, I wasn't in my right mind at the time.
Yeah.
No.
Shane Corson just jumped on. Corson just jumped on. Much love to Shane Corson. He does a lot of stuff for charity.
I love Shane Corson.
Corson. So,
best.
Okay, on that note, talking about small towns, talking about events, what's your favorite small town that you played an alumni event in or a charitable event in? Small town.
Wow, that's a tough one. Small town. It was in Newfoundland, I think. It was near Gander, really close. I forget the name of the little town, but it's not far from Gander. And I'm telling you, the people were so nice, so accommodating. Newfoundland, when we go there and play,
best place. East Coast.
Always make fun of Newfies. I never understood that when I came here. People make fun of Newfies. I'm there. What are they making fun of Newfies for? They're the nicest people in the country.
Yeah. East Coast Canada is the best. East Coast Canada. Best story from, I'm going to do this. Griff. There's a bunch of R's and F's in there. Best story from your Catholic Memorial days.
Oh.
I don't know if it's a classmate or whatever. It could be anything.
I didn't play varsity hockey there until I was a junior in high school. A lot of kids played as freshmen, sophomore. I didn't make the varsity team there until I was a junior. And that's where I learned not to be late. I lived right next to the school. And the dean of disciplinarian, Mr. Jackson, called me in one day. He said, "Chris Nilan, get in here and sit down." I'm there. "What's up?" He says, "Listen, this semester, you're late 5 times. 5 times. You live right next to the school." He said, "There are kids that live on the other side of the city. They take 3 buses, 2 trains to get over here by 7 o'clock every morning. And you're late and you live right next door. You ought to be ashamed of yourself." I was never late again.
Crusher Rick.
That was my CM days.
Crusher Rick, favorite coach.
Oh, favorite coach. I got to say, well, Claude Ruel, I had him my first year, but he was my favorite coach, helped teach me. And then Jacques Lemaire, without a doubt.
By the way, much love to Jacques Lemaire. From Malowski, favorite Bruin moment.
The night I got introduced. After that was like a fucking root canal the whole time.
Quickly, Danny McLaughlin, why'd you knock out Rick Middleton's teeth?
Oh, stop fucking whining about Rick Middleton and his teeth, will you? God, I give him a little backhander, and he had a plate. He had a little plate there, and it went through his lip. Because he high-sticked me at the beginning of the shift when it happened, and I was so pissed off at Kerry Frazier that they didn't call it. I turned around and gave him a rap in the chops.
Okay.
I kissed and made up. Stop with that.
Okay, we got Knox like 10 minutes left. So I'm going to couple of questions to see what you are. Again, tomorrow I'm expecting to hear some of these answers, but favorite restaurant in Montreal. You have one?
Well, the boys at Medusa right now. I love Medusa. I love going to Schwartz.
One.
Huh?
One okay. Answer.
Medusa.
Favorite restaurant in Boston?
The Daily Catch.
Who wins? The restaurant in Montreal or the restaurant in Boston?
Daily Catch.
1-0 Boston. It's a good restaurant. Favorite, well, you don't do this anymore, bar scene all that much, but how about your favorite vibe bar feeling place in Boston or Montreal, if there is one?
Really,
No.
I can't think of one.
Okay, okay.
Back in the day, Montreal, I used to go to Winnie's, have a few. Or Alexander, Shea Alexander. I love that pub. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Here, okay, this is actually, there's a couple movies from Montreal, but I played in Boston, and I love Boston. It's Boston is Montreal. It's my two favorite cities in North America, and I've traveled to
The
everywhere.
best.
Chicago, you're right, though, Nux is on that list because
Yeah.
it's very much the same. But Montreal is Boston added some French flair and the drama every time there's a vote with the party, and we're all going to change all the signs. But besides that, it's the same city. It's awesome. I love their French flair, but Boston has all the same history. Pick your favorite Boston movie. The Departed, Mystic River, Good Will Hunting, The Fighter, Boondock Saints, sneaky one, Manchester by the Sea, The Town, Gone Baby Gone, Spotlight, Shutter Island. Do you have one?
Yeah, The Town.
The Town. Any of them? Yeah.
Special place in my heart, Charlestown.
Well, you're from West Roxbury, though, right?
Yeah, but my best friend from Charlestown, Jimmy Veazey. You know,
Jimmy Veazey. Sure.
My best friend and quite a few other guys. I had a friend that lived up here from Charlestown for years. He died a couple years, about 5 years ago now. He was actually on the run. He was.
They come to Canada. Mike Cusack, my buddy Mike, says The Town. Everyone's saying The Town. Luigi just said The Town. Okay.
Luigi Lally, my buddy Luigi Lally.
Luigi Lally, come sta Luigi? Stitch, Saint Chump Dad, The Town is a badass movie. I like Boondock Saints. Yes, The Town is kick-ass. I think Departed is awesome. Mystic River was new at the time. They're all good. Town is awesome. Gone Baby Gone is sneaky good. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's
They're all
sad,
pretty
though.
good movies, right?
Yeah, Boston has the best movies. It's awesome. Poutine or fish and chips?
What's that? Poutine or fish and chips? Yeah, poutine.
Yeah, oh, okay. So it's kind of one.
I like fish, but fish and chips. Come on, that's an English thing.
I never got the fish and chips.
That's over there. That's across the pond.
I never got that.
Give me a lobster roll any day.
Oh, little butter
lobster
on
roll.
The North End pasta or Little Italy pasta?
North End.
North End.
Yeah, I gotta go North End.
Have you done St. Leonard Little Italy pasta?
Yeah,
here?
a little bit, but not as much. Not as much as I had down there.
The secret is you got to get there. You got to get there before Marinaro gets there, or there's none left.
Not anymore. He's working out again.
I saw that. Tony Marinaro, by the way, another great one on the staff of Team 690, is on from 10 to 1, and Chris and Tony do a little switch over there with the brilliant Sean Campbell that pretty much carries everybody.
Yeah, he does.
12 to 1. So, okay, Bobby Orr or Rocket Richard?
The B.O.
Yeah. Who's your
best hockey player ever?
I was gonna say, is he the best ever, or is Gretz better, or Gordie Howe?
I played against Gretz. I played against Mario. Bobby Orr will always be, for me, my favorite and the best hockey player ever.
Because you grew up a Boston kid with a different, like, that argument is made for, you look at things differently. Like, now that we do media in Montreal, we find so many faults for the Montreal Canadiens because that's what we do. And it's harder to find positive because it's easy. So we got to find ways to spin stuff here. But growing up, you idolize, if we're not in the media, you idolize or you love or you hate. And Bobby Orr was the best back then. So
yeah, and no disrespect to Rocket at all. Jean Beliveau or any of these great players that played here. I hated the Montreal Canadiens growing up in Boston. I hated every goddamn last one of them.
So you got drafted by them. How did your family take it?
But even then, I got drafted by them in '78, and I was pulling for the Bruins to win 79, 78, 79. And the bastards screwed up again. So I said, it's time I switch sides.
What's your Bobby J 117? Bobby Orr is the greatest player and even a greater man. I've met Bobby Orr. I've met Wayne Gretzky. They're two of my favorite human beings of all time. Nux, I was going to ask quick before we go. What's your thoughts on the Habs coming up this year?
I think the expectation has gone up to here. I think the moves they made, they got bigger, a little bigger on the back end and better. I like Romanov coming in. I think this kid's going to be a good one. Not this superstar guy, but he's going to be a good defenseman. Puck mover, hits. I like a little flurry on defense, a tough defenseman. Up front, bringing in Toffoli, Anderson. They got bigger up front. That was the big knock on them. They didn't have that size. I really like they did that. Suzuki kind of stepped it up big time. I'm happy for Kokanemi, the poor kid. He came here 18, like a little string bean spaghetti boy, couldn't stand up, faded after the first season, goes down the minors. He gets hurt. Then he goes home and he comes back. He was unbelievable in the playoffs. Like, I really like what I saw from him. I just hope all that continues. If it does, I think they got a good competitive hockey team.
Playoffs?
I would, if they don't make it's on them now, I think, because he put a good team together. The goaltender, the defenseman, the forwards, it's on these guys. Yeah, they better make the goddamn playoffs.
Okay, last question. We did all the restaurants versus bars versus movies versus poutine versus fish and chips. Habs or the Bruins? What's your team?
Come on, the Habs, baby. Come on. Listen, my father didn't want me to come home to Boston. He said, Chris, don't come back here. Will you just stay in New York? Blah, blah. I said, Dad, I never played for the Bruins. I'd love to see. No, after the crap they gave you. And anyway, I came home. I'm glad I came. See what it's like there. But I was near the end of my career. You know, I was starting to have, I was beat up. My last year, I remember fighting. I fought the Grim Reaper one night. The next night, Jim McKenzie, and I'm going on the bench. I'm sitting on the bench. I'm going, whew, it's getting tougher, Knuckles. Yeah. And, I was losing that little half step. I knew I was, but I couldn't own up to it. I didn't want to own up to it. I knew it was there. And I was just trying to play as long as I could. But, I was so happy that Serge brought me back. And I got to retire Montreal Canadian. Come full circle. See you later, folks. I had a wonderful career. I loved every minute of it. There was some tough times, but hey, everybody got tough times in life.
I think your tough times were appreciated by a lot more. I'm gonna let you go, Chris, but I want you to watch us or just read the comments at another time. I don't know how to condense them or send them to you.
At some of them.
There's a lot of beautiful words said to you. So congrats on what you're doing tomorrow, 12 to 3 on TSN 690. Catch them there, and thanks for being.
Let me tell you, on my computer there was none of them little things down below to hit the little hand. On the phone there was.
Because it has to be done on your phone.
No, but I'll show you. On my computer, there was none of them little hands. I couldn't do it. I wanted to do it on the computer. Anyway, listen.
Here's one hand.
I love you, buddy. Awesome stuff.
Thanks,
and always respected the way you played hockey on the ice. I loved the way you went out there and did your job, and you didn't give it who it was. You dropped the gloves with them. I only wish that you were a little more defensive so you could have played longer, but it's all behind us now.
But then I wouldn't be able to do radio with you. Like, I wouldn't be able to do this. I'd still be playing, making millions.
Here we are.
And millions. And here we are in each other's basement. Thanks, Nux. You're the best.
Take care.
All right, buddy. Ciao, buddy.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye.